then I'm gonna move right after I got out of elementary school. I went right into middle school. So Ms. Shoemaker, tell me what's going on down in the middle school, please.
Well, being in the middle school is the best. So, got t-shirts today that says that. So, our drama club is really developing into a great, strong club. We had a play last spring, and then this last week they did a production of the Merry Christmas show that they put on for the elementary, and then they put on for our kiddos.
I
And
see
just
Joe's all smiles.
shout out to them.
It was
Yeah.
good, seriously.
Yeah, because it's really hard, especially when you're getting in front of your peers, and your friends and everything. But they did a fantastic job, and they just love being a part of the drama club. We had another 100% on our math evaluate, which is very difficult to do. It was Tiffany's daughter, Taylor. So she got 100%. And then we had a student that got 100% in 8th grade, Owen Duarte, on ELA. So the kudos to them. PBS did our community service projects. They spent time making cards, placemats, ornaments, some garland and things like that we take to the nursing homes and the veterans homes, and they did a really good job on that. They really took time and really made those special. Our tier 2 and tier 3 for PBS team is awesome. We get together every month and talk about our at-risk kiddos and what we can do to help them be successful. And so we got a lot of really great staff on that tier 2 and tier 3 team that do a lot of extra things for those kids to help them feel like they're a part of our community and a part of what's going on at school, and just helping, have some positive role models and things like that. So our evaluate scores for 6th grade were really good this month. They increased math 13% and 14% in ELA, and they're showing proficiency overall in ELA already at this point. So a lot of good things. AR parties were had this week with Mrs. Pollock in the library. We had a lot of kids that reached their goals. Most AR points we've had in a semester the last few years. So there's a lot of good things.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody have any questions about any of the information in the middle school report? Because after I got out of middle school, I got to go to high school.
That's right.
So tell me about what's going on over in high school.
So we had some exciting finals days. Kids got incentives for if they attendance, discipline, grades. They got to skip finals. They seem to enjoy skipping finals. And it's really nice rewarding the ones that work hard, and they very much appreciated it. Some of that hard work, I just, like Chris said, give a shout out to my teachers. We have open library. If you haven't been in the high school on a Tuesday and Thursday, open library is from 4 to 8 twice a week, and it is loaded with kids. All last week I had a front and back page of kids. And I have some very dedicated teachers. I have 3 math teachers, all with master's degrees, that are there twice a week to help those kids. And they get very little recognition for it and I know the kids appreciate it, so they tell me. So, and then I also want to recognize we have, we're working on growing our crowd at our games, and Coach Dace does a great job of getting the recognition nights. So we're going to do this at this night. We're going to do this and get people in there. And if you haven't been to a game in a while and you're there when the pep band is there, Miss Moore, of course, does a fantastic job. I can't tell you how many of the spectators, when I'm walking around the gym, are like, man, that band's good. That band's so good. I love coming here to hear the band. So very good things going on at the high school.
That's awesome. Keep up the good work. Does anybody have any questions about any of the information?
No questions, but if you didn't get a chance to go through the buildings the last week or so, I did get to do that once finally in my life that I get to stay off and you weren't. The buildings looked absolutely amazing for the holidays, and I know the kids all enjoyed that too, so kudos to all of you for allowing me to do that and decorating to get their own. It was good.
Cool. Thank you, Roger. Anybody else have any other comments about the?
I just want to say thanks for the shout outs. I love hearing, especially wherever she went, talking about colleagues. when colleagues get to look at colleagues and analyze them and shout out and see the positive in it, I love that. So your specifics about your teachers sitting in the library, I just love hearing the shout outs, the praise, the positive things that we have going on, and keep it up. Just keep telling us about that. I keep sharing. I love the positive. I love the shout outs.
Thank you, guys. We will move into the Special Education Director's report. Obviously, that report is in our board packet. Do you have any additions or?
We have a couple students returning to our district from off-campus locations that are improving, so
Good.
bring them back.
Does anybody have any other questions about any other information in that report? Thank you. Next item, student representative report. Sierra, this is a finale. Let's hear what's going on over the high school.
So the high school speech team competed at the Pattonville High School tournament on December 9th. Rachel Martellero took 5th place in open dramatic interpretation. Sierra Lunsford took 5th in novice original oratory. Silas Siebert took 6th place in novice original oratory. And Max Corey took 5th in novice poetry. And the team is going to be very busy with all the speech meets coming up in Steelville, Jackson, and Jefferson City in the month of January. The drama club had very successful runs of their performance of the fall production Foul Play in November, and they already have plans for their spring production in the month of April, which will be a murder mystery dinner theater performance titled Cafe Murder, and cast auditions will take place in January. And the FFA also hosted their annual degree ceremony on December 13th, where 51 members were recognized with degrees. We have Green Hand degrees for our first year members, chapter for second degree, and then we also have a set of Green Hand officers who get to job shadow the chapter officers and help build the future leaders for our organization. And they also hosted their annual barnwarming dance on December 15th, and it was successful. I got to see firsthand, there were kids there that you wouldn't expect to see. And they got to make connections with other people there, really get out of their shell. They danced, they sang. It was really cool to see. And just seeing the looks on their faces of, wow, I do fit in. There's people that I can be with. It was really neat to see. And we also have courtrooming coming up in January, and they decided on Disney theme, so I'm really excited to see how that goes. And we also have 2 speakers going to state for FFA in January, Sarah Tushoff and Marley Jones. They've competed and they've worked very, very hard. They had 8 at district level, and now they're going to state to represent us. So it's a huge accomplishment, and they have to beat out several people to do it, and it's really a truly amazing thing. So I want to thank everyone here for supporting me, and yeah, I'm done.
We are sitting in the presence of royalty here. We have our barnwarming queen.
Sierra, thank you again for everything you brought to the board. You will be greatly missed, but you'll be here next week, next month. So
Yeah.
I'll see you next
Yeah.
month, and we'll debate for February at that point. Does anybody have any questions on the information that's in the board packet? Sarah, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Next item is the Assistant Superintendent report. Ms. Siebert.
Well, I want to start by saying I don't think it's fair that for the last year I've had to follow the She's the best public speaker in the room. So I do have something I needed to add to my report. Our APR report was released on Monday. Unfortunately, we are one of 70% of school districts across the state that saw a decrease in their APR. Our APR decreased from 78.8% to 71.6%. So that does still keep us in the accredited range. So there are no concerns there. It's just very disappointing. Ourselves, Herman, Owensville, St. James, Union, and Washington all saw decreases from 2022 to 2023. What's most frustrating to me is that our academic performance Our scores didn't change. They went up in science and social studies, in math and ELA, they stayed the same. We had a slight decrease in our student subgroup population for ELA. Our continuous improvement scores rose from 96% to 98%. So when you look at all of those things, then you're thinking to yourself, well, then how in the world did we decrease? Well, if you Google the Missouri Growth Model, that's where it comes in. The Missouri Growth Model is what DESE uses to predict student scores from year to year. It is not actual growth. It is a formula that they use to predict the growth, and if you don't hit their prediction, then you don't get your growth points. What's most frustrating about that, besides the fact that it's ridiculous, is that they won't even share the formula with the public. So people, newspapers, a lot of people have asked for the formula. They will share an explanation of the formula. They will not give the actual formula out. So to me, that's infuriating. School districts across the state are protesting that. We actually found an error in our APR. Dr. Davidson protested it, and they did give us those points, thankfully, which rose us to the 71.6. But it's just very frustrating because, as you heard tonight, there are very good things happening in all our buildings. From kindergarten through 12th grade, in every building, our students are working really hard, our teachers are working really hard, and our administrators are working very hard. And it's not fair to them that we are judged on a prediction and not what we are actually doing. So I want to say to our students, to our teachers, to our administrators, thank you for everything that you do every day. We sincerely appreciate you. That's my update.
Just to clarify, that was, we are 1 in 70%.
Yes,
Yes,
70%.
that's, I mean, that says a lot right there. That percentage, yeah.
So I'll say, Mrs. Siebert said it very well. I've been very fired up, to be honest, and have made calls to DESE and Commissioner and talked to things. One thing Commissioner Van Dieven said, we were on a meeting too, we'll go through this more next month, but it said you can't look at your scores, just don't look at your scores to determine your school. So it's unfortunate. I've gone to the growth model meetings to determine how this is, because I used to be able to map it out specifically in detail. They compare like schools, but they won't tell you what like schools are. And some of your growth is predicted, math is predicted off your ELA, and so it's very convoluted. So been in a lot of discussion with SUPs across the state, St. Louis, Springfield area. So it's a point of contingency, which is unfortunate because it does not correctly reflect what everybody does here. So just to put that out there, so I will not get fired up like I have been. Leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Siebert. Do anybody have any other questions about the Assistant Superintendent report? Thank you. Can we move right into the Superintendent's report?
So I kind of jumped on the assistant super report a little bit. I do not. I'm just proud of everything we have going on at the school. The super's going to do a needs assessment overview here in a little bit, but it's just accomplishment of admin team, teachers, classified staff, just everybody that gets our kids safely to and from school with their bus drivers and custodians and maintenance staff. We've got a lot of good stuff going here, so I'm just really proud of that. So I'll leave it at that. And then we have a lot in the agendas.
Does anybody have any questions? And we will continue to move right along because we still do have a full action-packed evening ahead of us. We will go into unfinished business. Like, give me an update on the 2023-2024 budget.
So our budget's good. Year to date, we're at about 72% spent in comparison to our revenues received, which are 28. So as our revenues come in, our expenditures look a little lower. And then with our property taxes getting collected, we'll get a bigger chunk of revenues coming in here shortly. And as just heard by our auditor, indicates that we're financially responsible and in compliance with federal, state, and DESE statutes. So that's always good to get a clear bill of health with our auditor.
Does anybody have any questions about the budget? Next item under unfinished business is to approve policy 2115. The
Yep. So with that, board's had opportunity for input from the citizens, as well as work with legal counsel to draft policy 2115. So the attorney returned it, and so it's ready for approval. If the board would like to approve.
Does anybody have any questions? Or do I hear a motion to approve policy 2115 as presented?
Make that motion.
Second.
I'll third.
We'll get everybody else's vote here, just 1 minute.
Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Tiffany Dickens to adopt policy 2115 as presented.
Is there any questions, any
Oh.
concerns? Angela, you can ask for everybody else's vote for this one.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Then we will move right into some new business, like property and casualty insurance renewal.
So our insurance is due December 31st. So with that, that includes property, fleet, workers' comp liability insurance. This year, we do have a rate increase. It's first time in nearly 20 years, and that's about an 18% increase, or $31,000. That's due to this past winter, there was a hard freeze over a break, and a lot of schools did not catch water pipes freezing, and so there was a lot of damaged gym floors and floor tiles. And then in the spring, we also had a lot of hail that damaged a lot of HVACs across the state. So that's the reflection in the increase of the premium there. But this company does cover 92% of schools in Missouri, and it's not for profit, so they work really hard to keep costs down for school districts.
So, the recommended motion is we accept the renewal rates for music in the amount of $204,000 that will cover the period December 31st of 23 through December 31st of 24. Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Does anybody have any further questions about the insurance renewal?
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Sherry Schutte to accept the renewal rates for music in the amount of $204,487 that will cover the period of December 31st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024. Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
The next item is we need to approve the new student information system.
So we currently use Tyler Sys, which was sold out a year ago. So we had last year, this year, next year to get a new student information system. So I created a task force with myself, Assistant SOUP District Compliance Coordinator, High School Counselor, Special Ed Director, 504 Compliance Coordinator, and our District Technology staff to vet out what it came down to was Infinite Campus or Lumen. After multiple presentations and access to feature both systems, we found both equally capable of meeting our needs here. So then, just kind of looking at costs, we currently pay $19,000 for Tyler. So Infinite Campus, though, to convert all the data over for the first year would be $33,000. And then the 2 years after that would be $28,000. Lumen would be $25,000 to convert for the first year, and then $21,000. So in my opinion, the recommendation would be go with Lumen due to the cost effectiveness, as well as the ability to network with other districts. So Bourbon, Sullivan, St. Clair, Washington, we reach out to different schools at different times to try to see what they're doing or how to use that. So we're networked there, and then the customer service throughout this process was much better through Lumen. And then they have some futuristic applications. I got to meet the CEO, sit down with him, had a good discussion. So pretty interesting talking to him. So recommendation would be go with Lumen Student Information Systems.
Is that who, they're the ones that bought out Tyler? Is that
So
right?
Infinite Campus was brought out by
Oh, okay.
Tyler, so,
That's what we.
yeah.
Okay, good. I think that's
So,
what we are too.
and those are really the two big contenders.
Yeah.
There's some others out there, but they didn't have good reviews or.
One question
some
I have for you
challenges
with
with-
Lumen,
Mhm.
do they have, like, are they gonna be able to come out and support and help and with some trainings and stuff like that, or are you gonna?
Yes, so
Other schools?
So if the board approves that, then we'll start uploading the data from our current system over there.
Sure.
And then they'll start pushing out trainings to our staff next semester and get those lined up to start getting everybody ready to go.
And you said those other surrounding districts are using it?
Yes. Mhm. And some I
That'd be
didn't realize
helpful,
have
too.
been using it since 2008, so I didn't realize it's been around for quite a while. So.
Yeah.
Well, they all said it was good things, and we pull a lot of core data from that to report to DESI, and that goes into the APR as well, so it's all the information is there.
I figured they would have some good resources, but we're Infinite Campus, and so we've been helping other schools right now. with
Right, yeah.
Going in and doing that same
Are you
thing.
gonna
So
Infinite right now?
we've been on Infinite Campus for,
Oh,
ever
okay.
since I've been there, so, yeah, for a long.
Yeah.
So we would roll this out for the 24-25 school year or the
Correct.
25-26?
24, 25.
Because Tyler's like.
Yeah. Tyler's
They're
customer
out.
service is waning quickly
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah,
sold
Right.
out. So.
yeah.
So hopefully all the schools last year kind of got the bugs worked out for us. That was kind of the goal, kind of be right at slow to entry to, because there was a lot of learning from districts.
It's good questions. So, anybody have any other questions?
Your team they were happy to go with Lumen,
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
even
they-
just from a cost standpoint, but from a
Right.
feature standpoint?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah.
They
But-
essentially had the same features.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really 6 one way, half dozen the other as far as what they can do. Okay.
And Infinite Campus is quite a bit different than SIS was, so.
Any other questions, concerns, or do I have a motion to approve Lumen as the new district student information system?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Tiffany Dickens, seconded by Lisa Elrod to approve Lumen as the new district student information system.
Any further questions, concerns? Angela?
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item is we need to probably approve a local community grant from Walmart.
So, per policy, we have to have the board approve grants. So this is a local community grant from Walmart. Have a teacher who would like to apply for the grant between $250,000 to $500,000 to put that money towards sewing machines. So we were able to purchase 10, and there was need for it, but we can definitely use some more. So I think that was awesome. She wanted to do that. So.
So in order to do that, I need a motion to approve the local community grant for sewing machines as presented.
Make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? That's it, Angela.
Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Roger Bridgman to approve the local community grant for sewing machines as presented. Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item is our needs assessment review.
Right, so I am gonna share with you the needs assessment. Overall, for the most part, all of the areas saw positive increases across all stakeholder groups. So that was really good. We did have a slight decrease in classified staff, but I'll talk about that in just a second. So we had 80% of our certified staff completed the survey. It was the same scale as last year, the Likert scale from 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. There was the opportunity for our certified staff to fill in what they felt were building and district growth areas and building and district strengths. That was shared with the building administrators, separated out by building. So that's not going to be shared here tonight because that reflects personnel information, because a lot of that reflects directly onto the principals and assistant principals. And then, of course, the results are being used for building district level growth through our CSIP and our building improvement plans. Classified staff, we had a very low number of classified staff members complete the survey. So we are going to resurvey them next semester using a paper format to see, I think maybe because it was computer based and you know, your custodians are on the computer a lot, bus drivers, that kind of thing. So I'll be working with Heartland Business Solutions again to distribute those. They'll go through and make sure that they don't have any personal identifying information on it, and then I can do the data entry portion of that. Students, we did students a little differently this year. We split it out by building so that the building principals could really use the data to drive their growth and improvement in their buildings. So we had 3rd and 4th grade take it at the elementary level, 5th and through 8th grade for the middle school, and then our high school students took it as well. Parents and guardians, we did have an increase in the number of parents and guardians who participated this year. Last year only 138 filled it out, and this year we did have 163. So while it's still not a huge number, definitely an increase, and hopefully as we continue to do this, since this is only the 2nd year, that will help there. We did separate it by building just so that the parents could give specific feedback on each building. So if you had a child in multiple buildings, then you could take the survey multiple times for each building. And that gave the building administrators a better understanding of what the parents in their specific building were needing. So as you saw in your packet, I have all of the charts and graphs in there. I'm not going to go through all of those tonight because we'd be here for an extra 2 hours. So I'm just going to hit some of the highlights and the themes, the same ones we discussed last year: safety, respect, discipline, communication, job satisfaction, and then student and parent satisfaction. On our safety results, all of our safety results were improved from last school year, so that's a very positive thing. I've been working with the safety committee, who consists of the SROs and the building assistant principals and myself. I think that it really helps having an SRO in every single building. They are visible, they're around campus, they're in the cafeterias, they're in the hallways, they're in the parking lots, and I think that that adds to that sense of safety and security, having them there here. So the first prompt was, I feel safe at this school. You'll see kind of this trend throughout the presentation. Elementary scores are always the highest, and then it goes down a little middle school, and it goes down a little high school. Something about those teenagers, I guess. But for the most part, throughout the districts, our students are feeling safe, or they felt neutral in that regard. 85% of the parents agreed that their students feel safe at school, and then classified and certified staff as well. So we did this year add a follow-up question to that for the 5th through 12th grade students. So after the prompt, I feel safe at school, then they were asked, are there specific times or areas within the school where you feel less safe? So the top 3 responses were bathroom, hallway, and classroom. So we quickly realized that we should have asked why, because some of the students were specific, and they would say, you know, in the bathroom is where I'm offered vape, in the hallway is where people fight. So some students were very specific. You know, one student, I don't want to get called on to answer questions in the classroom, so that's, you know, why they didn't feel safe there. One student said the locker room because there's a mouse, you know, so we needed to kind of clarify, you know, that why we don't feel safe. So that's something that we'll add for next year as a clarification to our clarifying question. The next safety prompt was, I worry about violence, and this was only for our 5th through 12th grade students. We did not ask our elementary students that question. In middle school, 44% disagreed that they do not worry about violence, and 57% of the high school students. This one also had a follow-up prompt: explain why you worry about violence at school, what specific incidents or situations have contributed to your concerns about violence. the number one response in middle school and high school was the worry about a potential violent situation, the worry about a school shooting, and that worry of potential violence. Several students talked about shootings in other districts, shootings, that they see in the media, things on TikTok. We had a few students say that the drills that we conduct make them worry about violence. Which is one of those things where we have to have a plan, and our students have to have a plan, so maybe we need to do some more, give some more guidance there when we do those drills, and that's something for the admin team to discuss. The other two big things that students reported was they worry about violence because of their peers fighting, and then their peers arguing and not getting along, and that could potentially lead to violence. Other safety questions, knowing what to do in case of emergency. The majority of students across the board said that they know what to do. Staff knows that there is a plan to handle emergencies and feeling comfortable carrying out those procedures. With the classified staff, one thing that we did think about was maybe we need to include our custodians in our drill process. Our bus drivers get safety training every month. They complete drills with the students on their buses, but our custodians and some of our other classified staff do not. So that might be something that helps them to feel more safe, so that they know, what the plan is themselves. The next area that we're going to talk about is student voice and student-staff relationships, and then we'll move into respect. These are two of our lowest areas. They were last year as well. However, they did improve this year from last year. So the first prompt there, student voice and opinion is respected. 57% of parents felt their child's opinion is valued by teachers. 45% of middle school students agreed with that. 23% of high school students agreed with that. 76% of our teachers felt like student voice and opinion was valued and respected. And then 48% of parents who completed the survey felt that the school system was assuring that student voice. The prompts, my teachers care about me, in 3rd and 4th grade, that was overwhelmingly positive response there, over 89%. As we see in the others as well, it just kind of goes down per building. Middle school was 65, and then high school was 41. With that though, in the high school, while 41% agreed that their teachers were cared about them, 33% were neutral. So the percentage of students who think that their teachers do not care about them is going down, and that's positive. 88% of our certified staff feel like they are intentional about building relationships with students, and that's gone up from last year as well, so that was good. Respect is another area that was low last year, and we still have some low numbers here, an area to work on for sure. 78% of our staff feel the school respects differences among students and family. 48% of our staff feel respected by the students, so that means less than half of our staff feel respected by our students. And then 34% feel that students respect one another. And you see the results there with the students as well. The low numbers of not feeling respected or treated with respect. And for me, I personally feel like this is a bit of a societal issue. Those words, civility and respect, have really gone out the window. And so while I realize that schools kind of get the brunt of societal issues, I think that this is an area of character education and practicing how to speak respectfully to one another and how to be respectful to one another when we have differences is something that we all need to work on. So that's just my soapbox, I'll step down. Behavior and discipline, these numbers were much more positive this year. Kudos to our principals and our assistant principals for that. The clear set of rules regarding behavior, 86% of our teachers agreed with that, And then administrators respond to inappropriate behaviors quickly, effectively, and consistently. Certified staff said 88% agreed with that. That's a over 10% jump from last year. So I appreciate the hard work on our administrators' part there. And if you've been paying attention to the discipline numbers in your board reports, those are significantly down from the last 2 years. So that's wonderful news. This school handles discipline fairly. 53% of parents agreed with that, 23% disagreed. For our high school students, shocker there. So, I was a teenager once, I didn't think anything was fair either. And then of course, our elementary students love their teachers and their principal and they think it's all fair. Communication was another area. One of my favorite quotes is by the Irish poet George Bernard Shaw. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. I don't necessarily think that there is a lack of communication because we have gone out of our way with communication routes. We send emails and we send texts and we have the website and we've gone back to social media. So I think maybe some of the concerns are not with the amount of communication, but maybe effective communication. And so that's something for the admin team to discuss as well and the CSIP committee when we're working on that. Parents on their survey reported that they were wanting to be included more in decision making and asked for input. That was consistent with last year as well. Classified staff reported desire for more communication from administration and from their direct supervisors, kind of being included in building messages and things like that. I thought this one was great. 80% of our staff believe that there are open channels of communication among their staff, students, and the admin. And then 55% reported, this was our certified staff, that are satisfied with board communication, and then 67% reported that they're satisfied with superintendent communication. Job satisfaction, they were asked these two prompts. Our classified staff was asked, I look forward to each working day at the Crawford County R2 School District. 84% agreed with that. Only one person who took the survey disagreed. And then with our certified staff, 73% agreed, 6 people disagreed. My concern with this is the amount of people who are neutral. I feel like most of us went into education because it was a calling and a passion. And if we don't look forward to each working day as an educator, then there's a concern there. And how can we, as a board and as an administrative team, support our staff so that they do look forward to each working day as an educator? So I think that's a growth area for us. In terms of overall school satisfaction, our students were asked, I like going to this school. These results were all an increase from last year. Elementary again was the highest, and then middle school and high school went down from there. I would attend a different school if I could, was also a prompt that was asked to our students. And the majority of elementary students disagreed with that. The majority of your middle school students either disagreed or were neutral. And then you can see the high school is, kind of evenly spread there with the disagree, neutral, or agreeing with that statement. 63% of parents who took the survey reported their child likes attending school, and then 17% reported that their child was not. Some other areas of note throughout the survey, our preschool, our birth through pre-K options are limited. That was brought up again last year as well. It continues to be a concern. I believe Mr. Cross's kindergarten readiness numbers, I think over 70% of our kindergartners were not kindergarten ready, is that correct?
So the numbers vary some, ma'am, but it ranges of kindergarten readiness that are kindergarten ready anywhere from 16 to 24% in a given year. So anywhere from 75 to almost 85% of our kindergartners are not technically where on a standardized test, you would prefer they be entering kindergarten. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. It was also brought up on this survey by parents and teachers that we do not have a gifted program, we do not have a STEM program, we do not have any type of computer coding or anything like that. So that was a concern that was brought up. Staff retention and pay was also brought up consistently throughout the certified staff survey. And then many of our certified staff members in the written comments expressed concern regarding the lack of community support. Certified staff also reported they would like more time for planning and preparation on Monday PD days. And we are hearing their cry and listening. We have already changed our January PD days, so where they have the entire morning to work on curriculum and lesson plans, and they will only have meetings in the afternoon. So we are using these surveys to make positive changes. So I think that needs to be noted. Some of our strengths, both our classified and certified staff overwhelmingly report they feel like they're part of a team or a family. Providing access to technology was a positive across all surveys, very positive results there. Majority of parents reported feeling comfortable talking with teachers, they feel welcome at school, and there were positive increases in almost every parent category, so I think that's something to celebrate there. And then the final thing there, you know, throughout the certified staff survey, we had our building principals and our building assistant principals had overwhelmingly positive results. Actually, some of our assistant principals had better results than their head principals. So I just wanted to say kudos to our admin team because our teachers are feeling valued and supported by their building administrators. They made comments about the instructional leadership and the feedback that they get. And then the discipline, of course, which we already talked about, feeling supported with the discipline in the classrooms. So I just want to give a shout out to them for doing an excellent job. And that's it.
Thank you.